It is week 14 of the NFL season. Some great games this week. Really fun slate. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the feature matchups now. Why don't we start in Kansas City, where the Chiefs will host their division rival Raiders. Chiefs a 4.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 48.5 the total in this one. Both these teams just 6-6, but tied for first in the AFC West. Been a tough year in the West. Kansas City just can't buy a win. 4 straight losses and 6 of their last 7. Oakland, meanwhile, comes in here winners of 3 of their last 4 games. But you look at the Raiders' 3 victories here over Miami, Denver, and the New York Giants, 3 of the worst teams in the NFL. The Chiefs, meanwhile, even though they can't win a game, they have been very competitive. 5 of their last 6 losses have come by 7 points or fewer. Kansas City still pretty good on the offensive side of the ball, 6th in the NFL in total offense. They just hung 31 on the New York Jets last week, facing a very vulnerable Oakland defense here. The Raiders 22nd in yards allowed, 23rd against the pass. And the Oakland offense has been so disappointing this season. They've scored 17 points or fewer 6 times, averaging just 18.8 points per game in their last 5. So they still haven't been playing well offensively, even though they've been winning some games here lately. Look, to me, this feels like a golden opportunity for Kansas City at home to finally put an end to this losing streak. Oakland is not as good as their recent record would suggest. They did beat the Chiefs back in Week 7. Remember that 31-30 game, that thrilling finish. Derek Carr with a big game there, but I think Kansas City with a great chance to avenge that here. I think the Chiefs, again, finally snap that long losing streak, beat Oakland, and cover the 4.5-point number. Moving on now to Jacksonville, where the Jaguars will host the Seattle Seahawks. This is the biggest game being held in Jacksonville in quite a while. I mean, the Jags have been totally irrelevant for a decade, but here they are, 8-4. They would be in the playoffs if the season ended today. Same goes for Seattle, also 8-4, coming off that big 24-10 win over the Philadelphia Eagles. You look at the Jags, they have a great defense, but this is a deeply flawed team. Their offense extremely one-dimensional. Yes, they've been running the ball well this year behind rookie running back Leonard Fournette, but they don't trust their quarterback Blake Bortles, and with good reason. Bortles has been turnover prone since entering the NFL, including this season. Look, I know the Jags 3-1 in their last 4 games, but you examine these last 4 games, they just beat a bad Indianapolis Colts team. Prior to that, they lost to a bad Arizona team. 3 weeks ago, they beat the Browns 19-7, but the Browns, with 2 minutes left, had the ball, driving with a chance to possibly win that game. They turned it over twice in the last 2 minutes. One of those turnovers was returned for a touchdown by Jacksonville. So the final score there, 19-7, a little bit deceiving. The Jags nearly lost that game. And the week before, when the Jags beat the Chargers, I mean, they pulled that one out of a hat. They won the game 20-17. Blake Bortles in that game becoming the first quarterback in NFL history to throw 2 interceptions in the final 2 minutes of a game when his team was trailing both times. The Jags were down both times. Bortles threw those interceptions, yet the Jags still won the game. Almost inexplicable. So what I'm saying is, I'm not sure the Jags are quite as good right now as a lot of people think they are. They are very good defensively, but this offense has some problems, facing a Seattle defense here that everybody had given up on. No Richard Sherman, no Cam Chancellor. But then the Hawks go out and just smother the NFL's best offense in the Philadelphia Eagles. So a much easier task for Seattle this week against this Jacksonville Jaguars offense. And you look at the Seahawks offense, they might have finally found something in the running game with Mike Davis and Russell Wilson playing the best football of his career. 6th in the NFL in passing yards this season. 2nd in touchdown passes with 26. I think the Seahawks with an excellent chance here to pull the upset. I like them on the money line at 227. Moving on to Sunday night in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers will host the Baltimore Ravens. Pittsburgh coming off that brutal, hard-fought 23-20 win over the Cincinnati Bengals. And here with another divisional opponent, this one should be another blood and guts type matchup. These teams do not like each other. Now the Ravens have suddenly won 3 straight games to move to 7-5, making a late playoff push. But they are still bad offensively. 30th in the NFL in total offense, 31st in pass yards per game. Joe Flacco averaging just 173 yards per game through the air, facing a Pittsburgh defense here that's 2nd in the NFL against the pass. The Steelers 4th in both yards allowed and points allowed. They have been great on the defensive side of the ball this season. They did lose Ryan Shazier last week, so they'll be without one of their best players on that side of the ball, but they still should be able to handle this punchless Baltimore offense. The Pittsburgh offense, meanwhile, has scored 20 points or more in 6 straight games. The Steelers have won 7 straight overall. I think they make it 8 straight here. I think they're just a better team than Baltimore. BetSafe offering several different handicap markets in this one. I'll go with Pittsburgh minus 3.5 at 175. Moving on now to the Monday Nighter, the Miami Dolphins hosting the New England Patriots. Patriots an 11.5 point favorite at BetSafe, 47.5 the total in this one. Now the Dolphins coming off a big 35-9 win over the Denver Broncos. But prior to that, Miami had lost 5 straight games. 4 of those 5 losses had come by double digits. One of those, of course, was to this New England team that was just 2 weeks ago. The Patriots beating the Dolphins easily, 35-17. Tom Brady with 4 touchdown passes. The Miami offense produced just 221 total yards. So you say to yourself, what has changed over the course of 2 weeks? Well, not much. Now, Miami will have a new quarterback here. Jay Cutler back in the lineup now. Matt Moore played 2 weeks ago. But I'm not sure that's a positive for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, Cutler has been very inconsistent this season, and throughout his career, he's been a guy who just as likely to lose you a game as he is to win you a game. The Patriots, meanwhile, will be without Rob Gronkowski after he's suspended due to that cheap shot last week against the Buffalo Bills. But is that really going to matter against this Miami defense? I mean, the Dolphins haven't been able to slow down anybody until they met up with that terrible Denver offense last week. But you look at this Miami defense, in their 5 games prior to beating Denver last week, they allowed 177 combined points. That is 35.4 points per game. I mean, teams have just been going through this Dolphins defense like butter. As we mentioned, the Patriots hung 35 on them just 2 weeks ago. Look, I know 11.5, a big number to swallow. I know this game is in Miami. Still, I don't think that's going to be enough points in this situation. The Patriots on a roll now, 8 straight wins to improve to 10-2. Rob Gronkowski being out of the lineup, not going to be enough to slow them down. They're going to blow out the Dolphins here. I am all over New England, minus 11.5. There you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts on some of this Week 14 NFL action. I wish you best of luck no matter what you decide to do this week, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interest. For Bet Safe, I'm John Arnett.